Hey, welcome back. I hope everything's going great. This one is really about, I guess, this idea of positive mental attitude, PMA. It's easier said than done, isn't it? That's my observation. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you're a naturally cheery, sunny disposition person. I'm seeing an awful lot of people who seem to be deeply unhappy, and that really does concern me. And I could say something about, the chances of actually being alive at all are trillions to one. I could say that we are not only the lucky sperm, we're the lucky sperm with into the generations past. For all things to have happened, for us to even be here, and for me to be talking to you through that phone, is trillions and trillions to one. Must be, yeah? And then for us to look at it and say, well, actually, we're living in the best time in history. And I wasn't always grateful, I can assure you. I wasn't always grateful, but I got to a certain age, and after my little dance with death with COVID, I started to realise what matters most. I think that goes to the last video, right? And I had these little realisations. I thought, you are so lucky to be alive, and if you think about it, we are in the best time ever to be alive, in spite of all the wars, in spite of all of the distress, in spite of all the starvation, in spite of all these things have unfortunately always been with us. The difference today is that we're all real-time aware of it because of the same technology, that phone that I'm recording on at the moment. So we have a couple of choices. I think I talked about control in one of my earlier videos. The stuff that's inside of our control and the stuff that's outside of our control. And we can spend an awful lot of brain cycles thinking about the things that we'd like to be in control of, that we just won't be, ever. And we can beat ourselves up. And the net result is, we're no happier. The world has not changed in any way. But what we've actually done is we've exercised the muscle of negativity. And any muscle, and I'm talking figuratively of course, that we exercise, that's the net result we're going to get. So if I go to the gym 6 days a week, chance to be a fine thing, work out, I'll see the results of that. And if I sit there eating donuts 6 days a week, I'll see the result of that. If I consume positive stories, positive people, positive outlooks, I'll start to see the benefit of that. If I consume negative media, exclusively, doom scrolling, I will also see the benefits of that. It's pretty much you are what you eat, you are what you consume, you are what you read. And so what I'd like to say is, stay away from that stuff. Stay away from that negativity, stay away from that negative news. It's not an ostrich syndrome. It is happening. But there's not anything that you or I can do to change that, other than to raise our blood pressure and to cause ourselves distress. And in so doing, we're causing ourselves distress, and that will ripple out to all of our interactivities with our family, potentially, our friends. And if it spreads widely enough, it'll be a despondent country that we live in, a despondent continent that we live in. We need to try our best, because that's all we can do, to reframe our thinking, to seek out the good. And I'm going to sound really cheesy and corny here, but it's just coming to my head, so I'm going to say it anyway. I'm not going to attempt to sing it though. It goes back to the Jungle Book, the original Jungle Book, sort of Disney story. And I remember seeing as a 5-year-old kid in the cinema, accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative. And as my mother used to say, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all, because it's habitual. And I'm talking to me as much as I'm talking to you. I'm certainly not preaching to you. I'm saying to myself, this is a lesson for me. And I found that if I read that stuff, I come away from it feeling empty, and yet somehow I want to read more of it. Somehow I want to read more of it. And as the media companies say, if it bleeds, it leads. Yeah? And that's how they make the money. And as Charlie Munger used to say, show me the incentives and I'll show you the outcomes. And the incentives are to get you to click, and if it bleeds, it leads. No news is good news, so don't help them. That's all I'm going to say. It's easier said than done. But it's really about being conscious and mindful of what you're consuming, not just through your mouth, but also through your eyes, through your ears, and through the association you make with people. And if you find that you're in a circle of negativity, be it your friends, be it family, then unfortunately that is going to find a way of seeping in. You won't even notice it. Yeah, you'll just get so used to it that you'll expect that that's normal. And it's only when you step outside of that bubble, maybe you go to a different country that isn't affected in the same way, you actually see the difference. And that's all I'm going to say on this subject. But do your best. And in the words of the immortal Tony Horton, do your best and forget the rest. And with that, I wish you multiple blessings. I wish only good things for you. And until next time, take care.